What's going on? Thanks for checking in. Today I have 3 training myths or tools that athletes are using every single day that may not be as beneficial as they think. So make sure you stay tuned, check this one out. Today we're stepping back in time, going back to my grad school days. We're gonna go over 3 papers that I wrote on these particular tools or myths. This isn't what I'm telling you, this is what the accumulated research is proving about these 3 different myths or tools. All right, number 1 may surprise you. Heck, we have them at our facility and athletes use them every single day. The first thing they do when they step into the gym, and that is foam rollers. The reason athletes like to use them is to improve flexibility, which in turn is supposed to improve their athletic performance. But the research simply doesn't back this up. There is some research that suggests very minute and acute ranges in motion right after foam rolling. For example, this big meta-analysis by Joan Wilk reported small to moderate increases in range of motion following a foam rolling session. However, individual differences in response limited the generalizability of these findings. So now let's look at foam rolling from a recovery standpoint. Athletes like to hit them after a hard training session to decrease their muscle soreness, following that training session. But the evidence again simply doesn't back this up from a muscular physiology level. This study here by McDonald back in 2014 observed decreased muscle soreness following foam rolling compared to a control condition. But this was not at the muscle level. What they found was when you find a sore spot on a muscle, if you're hitting a foam roller, this isn't a muscular adaptation that's happening at the myofascia level. What is actually happening is you're blunting the pain receptors going back to your brain. So it's not happening myofascia, it's not happening muscularly, it's happening from a neuromuscular standpoint. So in conclusion, the current body of evidence suggests that foam rolling might offer very limited and minute benefits in certain contexts. While it may lead to short-term improvements in flexibility and perceived muscle soreness, it is not breaking down myofascia, and its impact on athletic performance and long-term training adaptations is uncertain. But does that mean that you should stop foam rolling? No, like I said, we have them in here. Our athletes do them every single day. Perceived benefits as an athlete is huge. If it gets your mind right before a training session, go ahead and keep doing that. It's not gonna hurt you, but it may not help as much as you think it does. Coming in at number 2, something that has gained a lot of popularity very recently are ice baths.
Every fucking day.
Athletes believe that it's going to speed up the recovery process and make them less sore, but at what cost? There's a massive debate on ice baths' effectiveness on hypertrophy, which is size of the muscle, strength, speed, power, etc. So here's a few of the main reasons why ice baths are very bad if you're trying to be a high performance athlete. Number 1 is that ice baths reduce inflammation. They're very effective at reducing that inflammation. Athletes always say, hey, why do you get in an ice bath? Oh, it's because it reduces my inflammation, leading to improved recovery. But I'm here to tell you that inflammation is necessary for muscle repair and growth. So by reducing inflammation too much, ice baths interfere with the body's natural muscle building process. So they blunt that inflammation, which in turn blunts your adaptation you're trying to get in strength, speed, hypertrophy, and power. Our body produces inflammation for a reason. We don't want to step in and blunt that. We want to let our body's natural inflammation response happen to build that adaptation. Number 2 is decreased blood flow. Cold temperatures constrict blood vessels, reducing blood flow to the muscles. That blood carries essential nutrients and oxygen necessary for muscles to repair and grow. So by reducing blood flow, this impairs nutrient delivery to the muscles, which hinders the ability to recover and grow. Training for baseball performance has never been easier. This app is year-round training, specifically designed for your age group. There are 4 programs on the app that we run year round. Our Youth Power program for ages 12 to 15, our D1 Bound program for high school athletes looking to earn that D1 scholarship, our Golden Spikes program, which is the exact same program our D1 All-Americans are using, and our Big League program, which is designed for the professional baseball player, and it's the same program our guys in the show are doing every single day. So if you click the link in the description, you can start that program for a free trial. Now back to the program. And one of the biggest downfalls with ice baths is that it interferes with protein synthesis. Cold exposure has been shown to decrease protein synthesis, the process by which muscles repair and grow larger after exercise. So this interference with protein synthesis limits muscle growth and strength gains over time. So there is very strong evidence proving that when you go hit a strength, speed, and power session, say it's in the off season, we get an athlete coming in, hard training session for an hour long. If they go ahead and jump in an ice bath to aid in recovery, they're actually being counterproductive in blunting the physical adaptations we just worked on in the weight room. So you're gonna get stuck. We come in, we hit a strength session, you're not gonna be as strong if you jump in an ice bath compared to letting your body do its natural inflammation process and healing process. But listen though, there is a lot of perceived benefits with ice baths. It's all how you use it. Think about it. If you're in season, I tell guys all the time, especially in baseball, softball, it's a very long season. If, a Friday night game you get sore, if you jump in an ice bath, it's gonna give you those perceived benefits and make you less sore. But in season, you're not looking to build adaptation in strength, speed, power, hypertrophy. You're just trying to be healthy enough to go out and compete the next day. So in season, go ahead, hit your ice bath. It's not gonna hurt. It may help you from a perceived benefits, make you less sore. But in the off season, we gotta ditch the ice because we know that it will decrease your performance and decrease your adaptation we're trying to get out of an off season. Coming in at number 3 is stretching, specifically static stretching. Static stretching has long been considered a cornerstone of warm-up routines for athletes, aiming to improve flexibility and reduce the risk of injury. However, the research has raised questions about its efficiency, and it shows a lot of potential negative effects on athletic performance. There is a ton of studies that have investigated the effects of static stretching on muscle performance parameters such as strength, speed, power, agility, etc. And recent research has been finding very conflicting results. For example, this study right here reported that acute static stretching led to decreases in muscular strength and power output, particularly when performed immediately before high-intensity activities. Similarly, this study here, all the way back in 2012, found that static stretching impaired sprint performance and jump height in trained athletes. So looking at more studies here, this is a big meta-analysis done by Simic all the way back in 2013, and this proved that static stretching had no significant effect on injury prevention, debunking the notion that it reduces injury risk. So not only is it ineffective for athletic performance, it does not reduce the risk of injury. So now let's take a look at an athletic performance standpoint. You need to understand, when we're talking about athletic performance, especially in, high performance athletes like, baseball players, softball players, football players, etc., we do not want flexibility. I know that sounds weird, but we really do not want flexibility at, the muscle and the tendon level. What we want is range of motion or mobility. When we talk about flexibility, we're talking about the muscle. When we talk about mobility, we're talking about the ball and socket joints. That's what we want, because think about it. At the muscle level, at the tendon level, if we have loose muscle and tendons, when our brain sends a signal to the muscle to start moving, it takes a very long delay that's called your electromechanical delay. If your muscles are tight, your muscles are stiff, that electromechanical delay happens a lot faster and snappier. That's where that twitch comes from. That's where that twitch that we want as a high performance power athlete comes from. So we don't want flexibility, we want mobility. And to back this motion up, this research right here highlighted the potential negative effects of static stretching on that neuromuscular function that we just talked about, including decreased muscle activation and altered muscle tendon stiffness. So there is very solid evidence out there that static stretching does not reduce your risk of injury, and it also decreases your athletic performance. So you may be saying, hey Summers, how do I warm up then properly before a training session? So what we do in here and what's backed by science is using a dynamic warm-up that's backed up by the ramp principle. So R, we're gonna raise the tissue temperature. A, we're gonna activate the muscle. M, we're gonna mobilize at the ball and socket joints like we talked about. And then P, we're gonna potentiate our nervous system. If you want an entire breakdown and you wanna see how we use the ramp principle in here, go ahead, click the link in the description. I'll put a complete video of it on here that I posted on YouTube to where you can go through it. Hey, that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in. Listen, if you do these 3 things, it's not gonna kill you, but it's not gonna do as much as you think. If you like that video, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. We're pumping out weekly content. Also, if you want to use the same exact training methods that my elite athletes are using in the facility every single day, go ahead, click the link in the description to sign up to our Summers Method Plus app for a week free trial. I appreciate you. We'll catch you next week. Game rewards the grind. It knows how much you've invested.